And finally, Njogu says, like emotions, colors are a reflection of life. The Fashion and Design segment, in association with Crown Paints. If you like it, crown it. Today's Fashion and Design segment brings to light a very interesting twist to the rough and tough texture that you can use with paint. Crown Paint's very own Shrinal Patel shares with us on how a three-dimensional stencil can be incorporated with this effect.
Hi Tim, how are you? It's good to be back on the Ideal Space show, the fashion design segment brought to you by Crown Paints, and it's just amazing to be here representing Crown.
Good stuff. Now, what's that right behind you?
The wall behind us is a textured finish by Ruff and Tuff. It is a rough and tough texture, but it has been applied in a very unique, different way. You can get Ruff and Tuff at Crown, at any of the Crown showrooms, and with the right application and the right applicator, you can come up with very unique and different ideas, as you see here behind. And this has then been combined with a metallic paint. So there's a base coat of the gold and a top coat of the silver, and then after that they've applied a two-tone stencil effect with just a normal Crown matte emulsion paint. They have brought out this stencil with a two-tone, in the sense that they've used hue of the same family, but it's in a different tone. So one is completely pastel and one is completely bright high tone, and then they've been combined as a shadow sort of an effect to give you what we have that's behind us today.
Can you have hues of the same family to create a visual texture?
Yes, you can. It depends on also then pattern. You could have the same hue in different patterns to bring out an effect, or you could have the same hue with a tint of a lighter or a tint of a darker to give you a two-tone effect, as we see what is there on this pattern here. These are carefully hand-cut stencils. That's the best part about it, is that what a stencil ideally is that it's got this shape, and you put the paint, you then peel off the stencil, and you get this very neatly trimmed edge. With stencil, depending on the type of pattern you're trying to achieve, you can have a pattern that is repeated, which would then be the same stencil repeated over and over with the exact measurement. Or you could have what we've got is like this plant effect, where each leaf is not going to be the same size or the same shape. And that's why it gives you that free hand with the stencil in terms of design, in terms of even covering up mistakes. I feel stencils are a very effective way of going about with things, because you've just got to cover it up very cleverly. You have a pattern which doesn't necessarily need to take shape or form, but you can play around with it and give it that shape and form.
We've tackled rough and tough in our previous programs. What makes this rough and tough different from what we've tackled?
The difference with this Ruff and Tuff is that it is still the same base material of a Ruff and Tuff. The thickness of application is what varies, and the pattern and the manner of which you apply it. A Ruff and Tuff is applied with a trowel, so it depends on the movement of what you create. It's all about being creative in what you can come up with, and that's where I say the right applicator will give you the exact different feel that you want to your home. It's still rough and tough, but it's not the usual designs that we do sell. So we can give you that freeway to go and explore out of the box, rather than just the designs that we do provide at Crown. This is still a Crown product, but it's applied in a different way.
Do you need special paint for rough and tough?
No, Ruff and Tuff is a paste mixture which gets applied, and upon drying you apply a paint on top of it. In the previous episodes we saw Ruff and Tuff with matte emulsions and silk. This, in the other case, is what it's got a metallic color on top. It's got a metallic gold and it's got a two-tone effect. So they've got a base coat and a top coat. The top coat is silver and the base coat is gold. So it gives you that sort of very matte sort of gold and silver effect.
How does lighting play a role in as far as this particular wall is concerned?
Lighting is very essential in this ideal space, especially because this is the feature wall of this room. In order for it to stand out, and the fact that it is metallic paint, you want that sort of glitter to come up. Apart from this feature wall in this space, there is another stencil effect that has been created, which is at the landing of the stairs. It is actually a higher base stencil, so it's more like dropping from the ceiling. And it is a two-tone effect again, where it's a dark and a light. The only difference is that that one is not textured. It is on a flat surface, but they've still created that feel of texture with just paint. Whereas here, it's a feel of texture with the Ruff and Tuff material and the paint. And on the staircase, it's flat paint, but it's in the shades that have been used. And that sort of makes it an entirely different space, in the sense that when you are climbing the stairs, it is a feature that you are looking at. It is a feature that is welcoming you to the entrance of the upper floor of this ideal home, which happens to be obviously the private spaces, the bedrooms, and etc. And that stencil effect is still a leaf pattern, but again, when you see it, it is not exactly the same leaves as these. So it's like I said earlier, you could stencil any sort of a design and try to bring it in incorporation, and it doesn't have to be exact replica of, you know, the same thing that you started with.
The Fashion and Design segment, in association with Crown Paints. If you like it, crown it. This decorative paint technique, as beautiful as it is known as Caravaggio. The man on standby to show us how to apply it is none other than Frank from Classic Moldings. Frank, what's up?
So today, team, I'm going to show you how to apply Caravaggio. And like we said at Classic Moldings, that most of these decorative paints, it's more of a DIY. You can do it yourself. And what I'm going to show you today, Caravaggio has only 3 steps. And with 3 steps, the first step is doing the undercoat. Then the second step is doing the first coat of Caravaggio. Then after doing the first step, the first coat of Caravaggio, now you do the second coat, which is the finishing for the Caravaggio. So welcome, our board is ready. We're not going to be doing it on a wall, but we'll do it on a board. So now here, what I've done is the first coat, which is now the undercoat. This is ready, I've already done that. This you apply with a brush, just like a normal paint. So once this has been done now, I'm coming now and starting to do my Caravaggio. And the tools that I'm going to be using today is a plastic trowel. This is what we use for the applications, which is a plastic trowel. Then apart from that, I'm going to be using my normal scraper, which will help me to mix the material and to also scoop the material from the container. We have two different bases. We have a gold base and we have a silver base, but what we are doing today is a gold base. Alright, so what I do is scoop it from the container and just right away I begin my application. So what I'm going to do now is keep moving my hand to make sure that it's even. And to make sure that I'm not leaving any blank spaces as I apply. It's more of a free hand, like crisscrossing through the board, making sure I cover my primer nicely with the material, and making sure also the coat is even, that I don't have more material at one point and less material at another. That's the key thing to know about Caravaggio.